Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Terri and I make Philippine Travel Updates. In this channel, majority of times we talk about arrival in the Philippines. In this video, we'll talk about departure, leaving the country. This is just a general guide. Alright, now let's start with the basics. Mandatory wearing of face masks. You already know that everywhere you go in the Philippines, you need to wear face masks. While face shield is a thing of the past, face shield is not required at the airports po. You don't need to wear face shield. Next up, this is good news. This was just recently announced by the Ninoy Aquino International Airport Management that airport shuttle transfer service is back. It operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you guys have you have to change terminal pa. For example, from your domestic to international flight, let's say Cebu Pacific Terminal 3 and then from Terminal 1 international flight, there you go. You can avail this shuttle transfer service, which is absolutely free. Libre po siya. So this is more reliable than taxis, I think. Yeah? Alright, so just have coordinate with your airline po if you have a connecting domestic flight. So they can direct you to where you can catch this transfer service shuttle. Next up, there is no vaccination requirement for Filipinos going overseas. So unlike other countries, the Philippines does not restrict international travel of unvaccinated Filipinos. So even if you are unvaccinated, so unvaccinated Filipinos can travel outside the country as long as they follow the requirements of their country of destination. So there is no restriction on international travel for unvaccinated people. The Philippines allows Filipinos to travel regardless of vaccination status. Next up is a COVID test you only need to take a COVID test if it is required by your airline or transiting country or country of destination. The Philippines has no COVID test for departure requirement, no. So you only follow your country of destination. So if you're looking for a testing laboratory, I would suggest to check out the Department of Health license complete list of testing laboratories in the Philippines. So for example, if you're going to the USA, the US as of the moment still requires a negative test result accredited by DOH. So you can check out this list. I'll show you. There's a link to that. I'll put it in the comment section. This one. This is all throughout the Philippines. They have in NCR to BARM. If you're looking for a testing laboratory, then this would be a good guide. Yan. NCR, there's plenty of options in the National Capital Region. While if you are, let's say, in Region 1, there's Pangasinan Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory. In Region 2, Region 3, Region 4, all throughout the Philippines, even up to Region 12 to BARM. So if you're looking for an accredited testing laboratory, then this would be the website you should visit, DOH website. I'll put it in the comment section. But for popular testing laboratories for travelers outbound, there is PADLab. PADLab is strategically located across Terminal 4. It's close to the NAIA Airport. It's at CBL area, Domestic Road, Pasay City. They operate for walk-ins 24/7, 7 days a week, while drive-thru, they also accept 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. po, Mondays to Sundays. So no need for appointment. You can do walk-in 24 hours or drive-thru 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. PADLab testings cost about, let's see, RT-PCR for 8 hours result is 3,000 pesos. While I know many countries accept antigen tests, it's a lot cheaper and the results are released very quickly, guys. So I suggest, if allowed naman sa country of destination to take antigen tests, the results can be released within 30 minutes to 1 hour with certificate. This is for 600 pesos. They currently have a discounted rate. For outbound passengers, you just have to present your airline ticket for this discounted rate. Oh, yan, RT-PCR po, 8 hours, 3,000. Antigen test, 600 pesos. Again, this is in PADLab, CBL area, Domestic Road, Pasay City. While for those flying with Philippine Airlines has partnered with some testing laboratories. They have testing laboratories po close to the airport. They even have in NAIA Terminal 2, antigen testing at NAIA Terminal 2. It's all in their website. Let me show you. I'll put the link on this one on the comment section too, guys, so you can check. So if you're flying po with Philippine Airlines, yan, there are PAL testing facilities, PAL Learning Center, PAL Gate 3, PAL Data Center Building, and then I think this is the best one. If you are flying with PAL and your country of destination accepts antigen test, may antigen test po sa Terminal 2. So for example, you're going back to the USA, flying with PAL, you can get tested at the airport for just 600 pesos. Results released in 30 minutes. Monday to Sunday po yan, from 2 a.m. to 9 p.m. Alright, but remember guys, if you're availing PAL testing po, there is an online link that you have to fill out. Don't worry, you can find this all in the website. I'll put it in the description box. Okay? If you are interested to get tested with PAL, you can get tested at NAIA Terminal 2 antigen test po. While if you're in other parts of the country, let's say you're in Visayas or Mindanao, let's say Mindanao. Yan. Yan. Sa mga taga Mindanao, meron po tayo mga testing laboratories. There's one in Coronadal. Ito, Dr. Arturo P. Pingoy. General Santos. In Davao, madami. Agusan del Norte. Yan. So, I'll just put the link, guys, so you can check this out. Going back to our slide. While some countries have already removed the testing requirement, no? Some countries hindi na kailangan ng negative test result. Like for example, Bahrain, Sweden, Ireland, UK, Slovenia, Yemen, Iceland, Jordan, Mexico. While some countries that are on yellow highlights pag fully vaccinated, hindi na kailangan ng negative test result, like Canada starting April 1, Australia starting April 18, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Yan. This is really good news now that many countries have removed the testing requirement. We hope the Philippines soon. So, just check with your country po saan kayo pupunta. But these countries on the screen, wala na pong negative test result requirement for entry. While, next question. Is there an online form to fill out? Is there an online form to fill out po for departure? So the Philippines does not have an online form po to fill out if you're leaving the country. For example, One Health Pass, diba? Is One Health Pass required once you're leaving the Philippines? For departure, no need na po. One Health Pass is just for entry. Hindi na siya. It's not needed for exit. The online forms you need to fill out are airline forms like airline passenger forms and your country of destination forms. So for example, if you're flying with Philippine Airlines po, they have passenger information form. You can fill this out as early as 24 hours before your flight. This is for PAL passengers. While if other airlines naman, if they have forms to fill out, they will email you naman po. And if you booked with an agency, I'm sure they will let you know naman. While if your final destination is Canada, Canada has an online form you need to fill out. This is called ArriveCan. No, you have to fill this out po before you enter or before you enter and after you enter Canada. ArriveCan. You can also download an app for this, and available po siya iOS, Android or website. ArriveCan, that's for Canada. While for those going to Los Angeles, if your destination is Los Angeles has a travel form that you need to fill out. This is required for all travelers entering the city from another state or country. There is a fine for failure to submit this form, so you can fill this out before you land or upon arrival in Los Angeles. While if your final destination is Australia, if you are going to OZPO, there is a digital passenger declaration form that you have to fill out. Anyway, I'll make another video on specific requirements per country. This video is just general guide. So just a reminder po, if you're going to a country, check the airline's website po. Nandoon na po lahat ng requirements. Now, Jennifer, are there paper-based forms handed out at the airport? Yes, there is. So for Filipino tourists, there is a travel declaration and acceptance of terms and risk form. This is handed out by Bureau of Immigration Post for Filipinos on short-term visas, especially tourists. This is just a form acknowledging that you acknowledge or you accept the risk of travel during the pandemic. Yun lang po, and it will ask for your name, contact info, and just the reason why you need to travel. This is not a big deal. You just fill this out, guys. You can print this out and fill it out in advance, or you can fill this out at the airport. It's your choice. Well, departure card, this is nothing new. Of course, all passengers need to fill this out. That's why I must suggest, I think the best thing is to bring your own pen when traveling. Black pen would be the best. While for passengers or travelers going to the USA, there is an attestation form. You can print this out and fill it out before you go to the airport, or if you don't have one, this will be handed out at the airport by your airline. So this is just an attestation form about the negative test result. You just sign it. It's pretty simple, the form. The Philippines really has no COVID requirements for departing foreigners, Balikbayans, and Filipinos who reside abroad, as is pre-pandemic. Yes, it's not complicated leaving the Philippines now. Foreigners, Balikbayans, Filipinos, especially permanent residents abroad, nothing to worry, guys. It's still like pre-pandemic pa rin. Only Filipino tourists have COVID-19 departure requirements. What is that, Jennifer? So for Filipino tourists, they need to have a travel and health insurance with COVID coverage during their allowable period of stay abroad. So covering their duration of stay. So for example, a Filipino tourist going to the USA does not require insurance for tourists, right? However, the Philippine immigration does. So a Filipino tourist going to the USA would need to have a travel and health insurance. If you're looking for an insurance po, if you're a Filipino tourist, I know of Safety Wing, AXA, yan yung mga popular. And then BI form, yung ipinakita ko earlier, ito. Kung Filipino tourist, kailangan siya i-fill up ito. I'll put the link for a copy of that declaration form in the comment section. So that's really it. There's no COVID departure requirements for foreigners, Balikbayans, and Filipinos who are permanent residents abroad. Most of the time, you will just follow the requirements of your country of destination and your transit country. So let's go with the checklist, the general requirements. For Filipinos on tourist visas, your passport should be more than 6 months valid. Of course, that's an old requirement. Next up is a confirmed round-trip ticket. Matagal na yan, ganyan talaga. Travel and health insurance, a BI form, and negative test result and vaccination proof if required by your country of destination. Kung hindi required, then hindi na kailangan. But do be mindful, guys, that of course, tourists, the Philippine government will not make it easy for you to leave the country, especially Filipinas who are going abroad to meet their foreign partners, foreign boyfriends, fiancés. They will inspect your age, educational attainment, and financial capacity to travel. For Filipino tourists po, of course, kailangan talaga parang gagawa ka pa ng thesis pag aalis ka ng bansa. They have so many questions to prove that you are not a victim of human trafficking. Yeah. So bring everything you can. Strong ties to the Philippines, financial capability if this trip is sponsored, affidavit of support, yung chats and messages and pictures with your foreign partner, ganun, including their ID. Next up, we have the category Filipinos who are permanent residents abroad, Philippine passport, a valid permanent visa or permanent resident card, CFO only if it's your first time leaving the country as a permanent resident. Then, negative test result and vaccination proof if required by your country of destination. Kung hindi, no need. Next up, we have foreign tourists and Balikbayans. So follow your country of destination requirements. That's it. While an ECC, an immigration certificate clearance, if required. So it depends. So an exit clearance is just to show proof that you have no derogatory records when leaving the Philippines. You have no pending issues with the law. So for foreign tourists who have stayed more than 6 months in the Philippines and those with valid LN registration certificate I-cards, you will need an ECC or an immigration certificate clearance before leaving the Philippines. So if you have stayed less than 1 year in the country, you can simply secure this at the airport for just 1,200 pesos. Okay, if you stayed for less than 1 year in the country, continuous stay. While if you stayed for more than 1 year in the Philippines, you may secure your ECC at the Bureau of Immigration Office 72 hours before, at least 72 hours before your departure. Again, if you stayed less than 1 year, you can just get this at the airport. If you stayed more than 1 year, get this at the Bureau of Immigration Office. So for those who stayed less than 1 year, most of the time it will just be 1,200 pesos. 1,210 to be exact. Always pay Philippine cash. How about those who availed Balikbayan privilege? Do they need ECC when leaving? So it depends. If you stayed within 1 year, you just used your Balikbayan stop, you did not extend your stay, then no need for ECC po. A former Filipino who stayed for 6 months or 8 months or 1 year in the Philippines, no need for ECC. Same with a foreign spouse. If they availed Balikbayan privilege and they stayed 1 year or more than 6 months, they don't need ECC. But if they applied for extension, for example, former Filipino, you stayed for 2 years in the country, you applied for extensions of 6 months, then you will need ECC po. This was explained by Bureau of Immigration. If your Balikbayan runs out, you get your tourist visa after expiration of 6 months. Do you need an ECC? Immigration says, if you have extended your stay for more than 6 months after the validity of your Balikbayan privilege or visa, you are required to secure an ECC prior to your departure. Only if nag-extend ka. Kung hindi ka naman nag-extend ng 6 months or more, hindi na kailangan ng ECC. Now for SRRV, okay, you need to secure a travel pass, SRRV. Travel pass generated by the SRRV monitoring web app helps inform the PRA of your planned departure or return to the Philippines. So you can get this simply in the website po, SRRV's retirees. There is an instruction by PRA on that. I'll put it in the in the comment section so you can read it. SRRV, you need to secure a travel pass before you leave the Philippines. And you can secure this online. Okay? Now, travel tax. Do you have to pay travel tax? The travel tax for full travel tax is 1,620 pesos for economy flights, while for first class, it's 2,700 pesos. Do you have to pay this travel tax? It depends. Who needs to pay travel tax? Citizens of the Philippines, Filipino citizens, permanent residents, foreign nationals who fall under these visa categories, 13 series like 13A, 13B, C, D, E, temporary residence visa, RA 719, 7919, recognition as Filipino citizen, permanent resident under 7837, and foreign tourists who stayed for more than 1 year, they need to pay travel tax. While I know majority of you are OFWs or infants 2 years old and below, permanent residents, green card holders, duals, foreign tourists who stayed for less than 1 year, you don't have to pay this travel tax. You are exempted po. No need. I had this experience in 2018 when I flew to the Philippines with my dual passport. I stayed for more than 1 year. I paid travel tax. That was a lesson for me. Yan po. If a dual po, permanent resident or tourist, if you stayed for more than 1 year, you need to pay travel tax. So how do you pay for this? You can, some airlines include this in your ticket. You have an option to include it. For example, PAL and Cebu Pacific. While you also can pay online travel tax that tiesa.gov.ph, or you can simply pay at the airport at the counter. It's best po, if you are planning to pay at the airport, pay your travel tax first before you check in, because your airlines will ask for the proof receipt for your travel tax if you are required to pay. And just last reminders, send off reminders, guys. I arrive early at the airport, 3 to 4 hours before your departure time. This is still COVID time, guys. I think it's best if 4 hours before your flight, you already at the airport. And if you're availing tests at the airport, then arrive earlier than that. Bring your own pen, comply with prepaid baggage allowance and size, weigh your bag before you go to the airport so you have no anxiety. No, because you already know that excess baggage can be very expensive at the airport. Next, pay attention to public announcements. Do not hesitate to ask security personnel if you have any concerns or questions. Be mindful of your belongings. Do not accept packages from strangers. Be careful of over-friendly strangers. Like, I've made some very good friendships at the airport, guys. I was lucky, but there are still bad people, at the airport. If somebody asks, can you take this baggage because I'm already excess na, please don't accept. Do not ever accept. Do not accept packages or bags from anyone. No. Always be safe po. While for baggage allowance, just for simple guidance, if you're flying with Philippine Airlines po, if your airline ticket is economy, saver, economy po, if it's economy with PAL po, 2 pieces at 23 kilos per piece po. Do not go beyond that. 23 kilos per piece. While if your air ticket is premium economy, 2 pieces at 25 kilos each. Yan. So just follow po to avoid spending a lot of money, or simply add baggage allowance na lang in advance online if you really think that you will go beyond your allowable baggage allowance. And that's it, our general departure guide for the Philippines. And if you have anything to add, please comment down below. I will truly appreciate your inputs. It will help other travelers. Stay safe, you all, and please don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so. God bless you all. Share your departure experience, and this is it. God bless you and stay safe. Bye.